All right, the watch list for Tuesday, March 22nd. Quick reminder, guys, the market is closed this Friday. So we're basically looking at a 4-day holiday week. And, Friday we stayed in a very narrow range. And most of today's session we stayed inside Friday's range. So volume very low today. I expect kind of a low volume week and probably pretty boring, especially if we don't catch a morning gapper. To me, that's where the money is. And, in the first hour of trading after that, things really tail off, especially on a holiday week. So here's the watch list I've composed. KTOV, huge move today. Had this on the morning gap play watch list, and it just ripped after the first few minutes. I never caught an entry, but the thing just ripped from 4 through 5. Yes, it's extended here, but it's a lower float stock. So for the rest of the week, I'm going to have this on watch. Maybe tomorrow it gaps down and gives a red to green or something. So it's worth having on watch tomorrow, but really watch that one all week because it made a really nice move. FIT in a nice sideways consolidation here. It's above the 20-day, above the 8-day. Let's see, the high back here, which was a little over a week ago, was 1480, and then today actually hit a high of 1490 and closed there. So this thing has some room to run if it can break out of this range. So let's watch FIT tomorrow. GBIM. I didn't do anything with this one today. It only traded 33,000 shares, but I do like it over today's high. I know it sounds silly, but 197. Then you have Friday's high of 199. So I think if you get through today's high of 197, this one might find volume again. And then, you could see a move to 230, 240, 250 on a stock that, with this low float that moves like that. So it's worth having on watch, but I'm not very excited about that one. Because these lower price, lower volume stocks, look at that, 33,000 after that big move the other day. So these things are really dying off. PETX, and in crazier markets, by the way, these things get great follow through. But anyway, PETX, nice volume spike today. I think it got halted on this initial spike. I think on FDA approval. And then it did this spike. It halted on a volatility halt, and then opened again at 560, popped up, and then came all the way back down. But then had a little rally at the end of the day. So when you see this kind of action, I'm going to put it on watch for the next day. So maybe a red to green there or something like that. And ORPN, another weird one, had this crazy move to almost $8, and now is already down at 278. Hasn't broken a previous day's high since the crazy move. It's already round tripped, which makes me like it less, but this one might be worth having on a chart. Maybe you get a narrow range for a while and then a high of day break, and then the crowd, shorts have done great here, but I don't know how much more they could expect. And it did have news on the day of the pop. And some of the people in the chat room actually caught this and had a huge trade, and I did not. But now after 3 days lower and back down to where it started, I think it's a good candidate for a potential bounce. I'm also going to put LL Lumber Liquidators on watch. I was looking for a break of today's high. A break of Friday's high, and then today just had very little action, lower volume. So a red to green or a break of 1230, which was today's narrow range high, could get some more upside. All right, so Lumber Liquidators, when it does get moving, it gets moving pretty well. And then lastly, ADXS had a nice move here over about 3 or 4 days, up to 942-ish, and then today actually went to 960, so maybe a red to green on this one. Using our gap play methods, I called this one long right here. Before this candle jumped up, it was right about here. I called it long at 854, or I said a high of day break over 861, either one. Actually, I started by saying I like this over the high of the day, and it was 854 at the time. I said I also like it here in anticipation of a high of day break. Either one with even a 20-cent stop didn't stop out, and it just ripped. It went all the way to 960. So that was my biggest gainer today. And because of the daily chart, goes back on watch tomorrow. It was one of my favorite gappers this morning because it was gapping up, and you had a nice little flag pattern after this run on the daily. So it had a little extra interest, in my opinion, behind it because it had a nice daily chart too. So the gap up was more interesting to me than some of the others. But I will be watching this for a red to green. It had really nice movement today. Goes back on watch tomorrow. And as always, we'll be focusing on gappers in the pre-market. See if we can't catch some nice setups. Maybe catch our daily goal in the first 15 minutes. When things go well, I usually do. So, all right, I'm going to quit babbling. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Have a good night.